In Risk Parity land. This is Justin of Risk Parity Chronicles with a quick tutorial, well, not so quick really, an explanation of how to use a new product that I'm making available to all who would like it, the Risk Parity Chronicles Simple Portfolio Tracker version 1. So in this video, I will show you how it works. Feel free to check out the blog post that accompanies this, and I will also have the link for the tutorial, which you are welcome to download and use as you wish. All right, now what is this I'm about to go through? It's a simple spreadsheet that will help you track your assets. And with tracking them and putting them in asset classes, like different categories of things, you can then follow a portfolio. Some people out there are intrigued by this idea of following a particular portfolio, but if your assets are kind of all over the place, it can be a bit tricky to know what you have and to know how far you are in terms of percentages from where you want to be. So this tool is just a really simple way to get the things together, to get them all in the same file and to organize them so you can see where you're at and where you're going. All right. It's organized, so it's a great way to have all your assets in one place. I have now 5, 6 kind of different brokerages for different things, a 401k, a Roth IRA, a brokerage account, an old account, and so forth. And I keep one of these myself to just gather all the things in one place. This tracker is pretty fast in terms of most of it is auto-updating. There are things that you'll need to enter in to get started. You'll need to know the ticker symbols and how much you have of something, how many shares you have. And as you buy things, you'll need to update that. But the rest of it is pretty much done for you. It's going to auto-update with the prices. It will add everything together. It will figure out the percentages. It will show you how far above or below target you are, what percentage you're off, and also in terms of just real actual dollars, how far you're off. So once you get it in place, it doesn't really take much to just get a glance. Now, of course, the one exception is things do change with how much you own, but that's pretty much the only thing you have to do. Okay, and this is a pretty informative tracker that it is not the most complex. It doesn't say everything about what you need to do, but it will show you in dollar terms how much you need to add to this thing or subtract from that thing in order to get closer to the allocation that you've targeted. All right. So if you are a veteran follower of this blog and you've seen these videos before, you will know that I've already kind of done something similar. In 2022, I made 2 rebalancing worksheets. I did a simple one and then got some feedback for some improvement. So a month later, I came out with version 1.1. And I got even more feedback and saying, well, that was nice and all, but even what I produced there as being a simple rebalancing was actually a bit too far, that people needed, more than anything else, just a place to collect and gather their assets so they could begin the process. So the ones from last year, those are a bit more complex. Maybe you can graduate to those if this portfolio tracker is too basic, or you can start with this one and figure out how it works, and then once you get the hang of it, move on to the little bit more informative, a little more targeted rebalancing spreadsheets. Okay, now a key first step, and it's all if you don't know this step, then you probably have to do the homework to figure out what you need to do to start it here. And that is the basic requirement that you need to have a portfolio in mind that you want to follow. Okay. It can be something really simple, like you want to do 50-50 or 60-40 in terms of stocks, bonds. It could be a little bit more complex, like a golden butterfly portfolio. It can be even more complex than that. Say one of the ones that I have on my blog, some of the test portfolios. The world's your oyster about what you want to do for a portfolio, but you need to have something in mind to do this. Otherwise, it's just a random collection of assets with no purpose. So if that sort of describes the situation you're in. Then what I would suggest is you stop it here, spend some time trying to think of what you want your portfolio to look like. Some resources for you. You can look at my blog, especially the test portfolios. Essentially, my whole blog is about trying to create good portfolios. Risk Parity Radio, that I know many of you are listeners to as well. You can follow the sample portfolios there. Another great site is Optimized Portfolio, a really robust and comprehensive site about all sorts of different portfolios. I should mention, I didn't put it on here, but portfolio charts would be another good one to do, to look at, to kind of figure out, well, what's the portfolio that you want to have. And a little disclaimer, I love capital efficient funds, which are funds that involve a little bit of leverage to kind of extend the effective power of your dollars. But this portfolio is the simple version and doesn't handle those well. So not to worry, I have in the works a little bit more complex portfolio tracker that does allow you to keep track of capital efficient funds and the leverage that they have. And that will, it's ready to go. I just kind of wanted to space it out by putting the simpler one out first and then waiting a couple weeks and putting out the more complex one. So if you do have capital efficient funds, and you might just want to hold tight and wait a couple weeks, and then that one will come out. Okay, so let's get into it. How does it work? All right. I've got a little spreadsheet here, but I'll just kind of narrate through. I wrote all the steps down. I won't come back and look at that too much. So let's see. Go here. When you click on the link, you'll get the copy document thing. We're just going to make our own copy. You are the owner of this document once you copy it. Now you'll notice the first thing is that there are some columns or some cells in gray and some in white. Basically, the white ones are the ones that you need to do stuff with, and the gray ones are ones that you don't. Now, if you try to change one of the gray things, it will pop up on the screen, a little heads up that this shouldn't be changed accidentally. Now, you can edit anyway, because I figure it's your document. You can do as you wish, but there are some warning signs there. So we'll just cancel and not change anything. All right? So again, gray, don't touch too much, and white, go for it. All right. First things first, if you want to put in the name, I just put it right there. Okay, no biggie. We'll call this the RPC October 23rd portfolio, just for giggles. And we're just going to do a real simple 3-fund stocks, bonds, and managed futures. That's what I've decided on. Okay, so next thing, cells A3 to A12. So these 10 right here, you're going to put in the names of the asset classes. So we'll do stocks. We're going super simple here. Bonds. And as I do this, you should notice right down here that these are changing to match. All right. And we'll do our bell of the ball, managed futures right in here. That's going to be our third one. Let's say for the next thing that we need to figure out what percentage we want for each of these 3 asset classes. And we're going to do a kind of a variation of a standard 60-40 stock bond. So we'll go 55% stocks, 35% bonds, and 10% managed futures. All right. Now we have a handy thing here telling, hey, that's 170%. We can't do that. So we got to make sure that we erase that. Okay. Now later we'll talk about what to do with these extra rows and columns that we don't need, but for now let's just leave them there. Okay, so we've got our target allocation in there. Our next step is to go ahead and add in the assets that we have. Okay, so we should have their name just to make things clear. We'll call this. We have VOO, so that's the Vanguard S&P 500 Index Fund. Ticker symbol, as I said, VOO. Now watch, as soon as I do this, the price will update as soon as I hit return. Okay, so $386.99 per share. And let's say that I've fortunate to have accumulated 200 shares of that over the years, and that's my stock allocation. All right, next thing, we'll go to our bonds, and we've got Vanguard long-term treasuries, and we'll call that, and that is VGLT again. The price will pop up and I have 1,000 shares of that. All right, so you know we want to have 55% and 35%. We're going to see that we're close to that, but kind of off too. So we'll come back to that. So next thing is we have our managed futures fund, managed futures strategy. I'll take out that ETF, and their ticker symbol is DBMF. We don't have very much of this. We'll just say we have 100 shares. Okay. Now we're not quite done. You'll notice that the stuff up here hasn't changed yet, and that's because once we have our 3 funds in there, one more super crucial step. We have to go and add it so it knows what category it's in. All right. So I have this first one, BOO. It's the stock account, and I have $77,000 in it, and I want to put that here. The way to do this, the pro way to do it, is to put the, click on the cell that you want to enter information into, hit the equal sign, and then click the cell that has the info that you kind of want to copy. All right? Do not want to type it in, because that means you'd have to change it every time the price changed or your shares changed. But if you do it like this, it will change it automatically as you change either the shares or automatically as the price changes. So let's say I somehow let's say I got a small dividend and I have 204 shares. I got 4 shares extra, and watch, it will change. Okay, and I don't have to do anything. All right, so once I set it up, I am good to go. All right, next we want to keep track of our bonds, so we go over to the bonds column, and again I hit an equals sign and then the amount, boom, and lastly manage futures, equal sign, and boom. All right, and now we have our 3 things, our 3 assets in our 3 asset classes, and we can see here that we're pretty far off from our allocations, especially for managed futures, while we're pretty close for stocks and bonds. Okay, so that's the basics of it, and you might have 10 stocks or 10 ETFs or whatever in your combined accounts, or you might have 100. So if you have 100, you have some data entry to do, but once you do it once, you don't have to do it again, except for updating the shares. So let's throw in a couple of curveballs here. Let's say you have another fund. We'll call that, it's the Vanguard Balanced Index Fund. And for what's important about this fund is that it itself is a blend, all right? So it's VBIAX. This fund itself has 60% in stocks and 40% in bonds. So I'm going to show you how to put it in 2 categories. Let's say I have 100 shares of that as well. Now, like I said, it's 60% stocks. So what I'm going to do is go equals, and then I'll put in where the information comes from, and then I will type in Shift 8 for the asterisk, that's the multiplication sign, and then 0.6. So I'm taking 60% of the total and applying it to stocks, and then the other portion is bonds. So I go equal sign again, and then the amount I want to copy over, that multiplication sign, and then 0.4, because I already did the 0.6, right? So now I have the 2 parts spoken for, 60% in the stock category and 40% in the bonds. I can make sure I did it right. I can see the sum there, and that's the sum there. So I know I got it right. All right, so that's another way. Let's say I get a new fund. I decide, QQQ's been, that's the wrong category. So this is the NASDAQ 100 ETF. These are super, heavy in tech and all that. So this is QQQ, and I get 30 shares of that one day. And this is a stock fund as well, so I go there, boom, and now I'm rolling. Okay, so that's how I add in I add in the stocks and ETFs that I already have. I can change the shares. I don't have to change any stuff in gray, and I just have to make sure I put it in some category. Okay. All right. Boom. So at this stage, if you'd like to erase, or you could actually have done it earlier, but if you'd like to erase some of the rows and columns, that's a good idea. However, little pro tip, I always like to keep one just in case. I can always go copy that one, and then I don't have to worry about any of the coding. I can just copy the blank one. So I will eliminate 6 of them, but I'm going to keep that D just for giggles, and it's going to say, ooh, trying to edit, but I'm going to say okay, and then I'm going to get rid of these as well, because don't need those either. And again, it's going to give me the warning sign, and I'm going to say okay, and I'm good to go. So now I have an extra. If I decide I want to add gold to my thing, I can do that. If I want to add gold and commodities, then I can just go copy D, and then I would sort of fill down or fill to the right, and create more rows and columns that way. Okay, so that is kind of the end of the mechanics about how to put it together. And I went through all of these steps for you all. And so let's go and interpret the information up at the top. This is where it's really key. Okay, so ideal, that's obviously what I want it to be. The dollar amount is what I actually have right now. The actual percentage is right here. So I want to be 55%. I'm actually at 62% there for stocks, and pretty close for bonds, and quite far off for managed futures. All right. Now that's that number, the difference there is expressed here. So I'm 6.8% off of where I want for that, 1.3, and minus 8.1 off for that. Now that's nice, but being 6.8% off from a goal of 55% is quite different than being, say, the same amount when you only wanted to have 10%. So I have this number here for relative difference. So how big relatively is the gap? Okay, so I am quite far off from what I want to be in managed futures. I'm relatively 80% off from where I want to be. Okay, so this is pretty big. Sometimes you'll hear about threshold rebalancing or rebalancing bands. This is what they're talking about. This relative difference between, I wanted to be at 20%, but I'm actually at 24%. So 4 to 20, right? I'm pretty big. A large chunk off from where I want to be. Okay, so that's an important thing. I have a little code here that if it goes plus or minus 20%, it goes to red, just to indicate that you've hit one of the rebalancing bands. And then this column here is the difference in money. So this is the raw dollar terms, and it's basically telling me if let's say this were in a tax protected account like a traditional IRA, and I suffered no penalties whatsoever for buying and selling, then what I might want to do is sell $10,106 of stocks and $1,827 of bonds, and I would put all of that into managed futures. And then for at least one day, I'd all be perfect. I'd had everything all lined up until the market opened again and prices changed. But that's what that's saying. If it's in a brokerage account and you don't really want to buy and sell that much because of the tax hits or whatever, then you could just look at it as every time you get money, you should be shoveling it into managed futures when it's the only one negative. Let's say that happened, and I put in another 100 shares. So let's actually make it a little bolder so we can kind of see what happens when we have two things. Yeah, so now I have two things that are below my target. So different ways to do it. I might take $4 for every $4 in this one. I put in $1 for bonds. I could take care of the lowest one first. I could take care of the percentage first. That's a whole nother conversation. But you have here the information that you need in order to rebalance things and get closer to your targeted allocation. Okay. Lastly, on the template, I included a kind of finished, more realistic golden butterfly. So if you want to see what a finished product looks like, and you want just so some of the just to see an exemplar, here you go. Okay, and that is all I have for you. Thanks so much for your attention. Hopefully somebody out there finds this useful. As always, please check out my blog, riskparitychronicles.com. I love to get emails, riskparitychronicles@gmail.com. And please follow me on Twitter at @RP_Chronicles. Also, love to get suggestions, feedback. If there's something you'd like to see in a tracker, some part of the explanation which you think is a bit lacking or confusing, happy to clear it up. Just trying to create good stuff that people can use and to get people's investing skills to level up a bit. And that's really my only goal. So, see y'all later. Bye-bye.